The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you very much. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, mayors, governors, representatives of local and regional governments, ladies and gentlemen. I am pleased to join you today at the fourth edition of the High-Level Local and Regional Governments Forum. This special event, held in connection with the United Nations High-Level Political Forum on Sustainable Development, is an important opportunity to highlight the critical contributions that subnational, local, urban, and territorial level entities play in advancing the 2030 Agenda and the SDGs. Let me begin by congratulating the organizers, the Global Task Force of Local and Regional Governments, UNDESA, UN Habitat, UNDP, and the Local 2030 Coalition for convening a remarkable group of leaders and experts to share their insights during the 2 days of your discussions. Ladies and gentlemen, as you are aware, since last week, the UN High-Level Political Forum has been considering the theme
Recording in progress.
Sustainable and resilient recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic that promotes economic, social, and environmental dimensions of sustainable development. Senior level government representatives have been joined by UN system leaders and expert practitioners from the scientific community, civil society, the private sector, and other critical stakeholders to consider how we can build an inclusive and effective path to making the 2030 Agenda a reality for all in the context of the decade of action and delivery for sustainable development. The HLPF is also a place where member states review in depth their progress towards the SDGs. From tomorrow, 43 countries will present their voluntary national reviews. I'm aware that several member states have reflected the constructive role of local and regional governments in their VNRs. Moreover, for the first time this year, the HLPF has dedicated a formal session to discussing the main challenges and bottlenecks for effective SDG localization. The session also discussed how the voluntary local reviews could be utilized for effective SDG implementation. During your event today and tomorrow, you will no doubt reflect on the close linkages between the HLPF's theme and the realities and challenges that are faced at the subnational level. We look forward to learning more about the experiences and solutions, as well as the specific challenges at the local and subnational levels. Ladies and gentlemen, the nations and peoples of the world are currently facing the greatest socio-economic and development challenge since the creation of the United Nations. The COVID-19 pandemic has imposed unparalleled human suffering and has reversed hard-fought development gains of at least 5 decades. Achieving the SDGs and addressing the climate catastrophe have become much more challenging. More than ever, we need close cooperation with and partnership between all sectors of society, as well as among all member states. As President of the Economic and Social Council, I have worked with UN member states and other stakeholders on several fronts, including on mobilizing the financing required to respond to the pandemic and the sustainability to rebuild economies, for investments in sustainable infrastructure, and for the productive application of science and technology for growth and development. We need the leadership of local decision makers and their capacity to innovate, to drive change, to connect communities in order to chart a path towards a more sustainable, resilient future where no one is left behind. We need the ambition and concrete actions on the ground, especially at the local and subnational level, and for the United Nations, for governments and the private sector to work together with the local and subnational governments in different contexts and levels. I hope the discussion today will further reinforce our collective commitment to the universal realization of the 2030 Agenda, and I sincerely thank you for your participation. I wish you all great success at your event. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Excellency, for these thoughtful remarks.